Gears of War is officially coming to the PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 is an Xbox. We see this not only with games going over, but Xbox games being the top selling games on the platform. A new ECCO the Dolphin game is being made, which is very interesting. And can we be onto something new here with Xbox PC? There's an interesting thread going around that we will take a look at and speculate as to what this could mean. But before we do jump into this, if you enjoy daily gaming news, discussions, all that type of stuff, 8 a.m. every single day, please consider hitting the subscribe button to help the channel grow. I see many of you who do watch on a daily basis are not subscribed, so I would appreciate if you go ahead, hit the subscribe button, help get my channel out there, help grow the community. But for now, let's jump into it. So a major announcement occurred yesterday, and of course, people are going to be talking about this. What does this mean for Xbox, for the future of the console, for the platform, all of that? The reality is nothing has changed. This is their strategy, and they are bringing over another pillar, another tentpole game from Xbox onto PlayStation, and that is Gears of War, as they have announced Gears of War Reloaded, which is basically just the Gears of War Ultimate Edition with some more upgrades here in terms of resolutions and frame rates. But here is the announcement. There's also some extra stuff here, some good advantages if you are on Xbox by getting this. So here's the announcement. Gears of War Reloaded comes to the Xbox Series X and S, Xbox PC, and this is interesting wording. We will take a look at Tom Warren's thread on that on X, because that is something that they've never really used before to explain PC. They really just call it PC Game Pass or PC or whatever. They don't really say Xbox PC. So interesting that they put that in there. Xbox Cloud Gaming, PlayStation 5, and Steam in the summer of 2025. The main thing here is that this will be August 26, 2025 for the release date. $40 is going to be the price on this thing. So that's a reasonable price. I didn't expect it to be more than that, as it shouldn't be. And it's coming to all of the different platforms out there. If you, however, are on Xbox and you have Game Pass, you're obviously getting it there. But if you own the digital version of Gears of War Ultimate Edition, you receive this free upgrade to Gears of War Reloaded. The big difference here is not that this is a brand new built from the ground up style of Gears of War. It's basically just the Gears of War Ultimate Edition featuring the 4K resolutions, 120 FPS support, and they say the ultimate multiplayer experience with cross progression and cross play across all of the platforms. And they say it is the definitive way to be able to experience the game. They also say here, as we approach the 20th anniversary of Gears of War in 2026, we're reflecting on what this franchise means, and it's about the stories we've told, the friendships we've built, and the unforgettable moments we've shared together. With Gears of War Reloaded, we're opening that door to more players than ever. They show here kind of the difference as to what you're getting. There is a nice upgrade to this. This will be the best way to play Gears of War, which is an absolutely phenomenal game, going from 720p 30 FPS back on the 360 to 1080p 30 FPS on the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, now to 4K 60 FPS here with Gears of War Reloaded, and you're getting all of the just awesome multiplayer fun that comes with it. I mean, I absolutely loved Gears of War, the first one when it came out. It is my favorite for the multiplayer. It is just such a great game, one of my favorite games of all time. Played through it multiple times, played through the Ultimate Edition, and yes, I will end up here playing through Gears of War Reloaded at 4K up to 120 FPS, all of those goodies. But to me, this announcement isn't really anything like that, because overall, this announcement, I even tweeted this out, that it gives me Last of Us vibes. We did not need this. We would have rather, I think, seen a different Gears of War get this treatment, or the long rumored Gears of War collection with all of them in one place, and then giving us that entire multiplayer suite, kind of like what they did with the Halo, the Master Chief collection. So this announcement isn't that exciting, although I do love the game itself. It does seem like this announcement was all done basically just to release on the PlayStation 5. That is the big news here. Another pillar, another tentpole game. The PlayStation is going to get Halo. PlayStation is going to get Starfield. They're going to get everything after you see Gears of War do land onto the platform. And from the business perspective from Xbox, from Microsoft, it is the right move. It is the smart move. It is the way that they are leveraging their IPs and their ecosystem for the future, which I think gives them a massive advantage over PlayStation going forward by being able to rake in the cash from the PlayStation gamers. People are going to complain, as they usually do. This shouldn't be anything new. This shouldn't be unexpected, as we already saw Forza go over. So should be expecting basically every other game to land onto PlayStation 5. And on top of that, which I really hope this does do, is it revitalizes that Gears of War multiplayer. Now with the crossplay and everything for online, that is going to be a ton of fun. When we have more people playing this game, we may see us getting back to like the 360 days in terms of the multiplayer fun for Gears of War, with a large community and fan base, people going in there and jumping in. So cool stuff there. And this is announced for August. We haven't even gotten to the June Xbox showcase yet. You would have thought this could have been something that they announced there, because I think people would have seen this as a nice announcement, even though it's not what I think a lot of people wanted, which was the collection. This tells me they have so much at the June showcase that they're giving us these types of announcements in advance, a month in advance, before they just drop a ton of great announcement and content for the second half of this year. You could argue maybe they did it because they don't want to announce it for PS5 at their showcase, but I think Xbox is kind of past that. I don't think they really care, because you're going to now see PlayStation gamers tuning into that showcase and seeing if there's any games for them in there. You're going to see Nintendo gamers tuning in, seeing if there's any games for them there. And that is all part of the strategy, to get more eyes on Xbox. And I think it is working. Believe it or not, I do believe it is working for the Xbox ecosystem. And why I think it is working extremely well here, because PlayStation put out their April 2025's top downloads, and shockingly to some, and I'm not very surprised to see this, but some people potentially will be shocked here, it's all Xbox games at the top of the list. The top 3 games in both the US and Canada and the EU are Xbox games, first party Xbox games. So Xbox is sitting back. They're looking at their strategy and they're thinking, yeah, we are taking in the cash, the sales and everything from PlayStation gamers. Nobody cares. They just want to play our games, and we're going to make the money off of them. Here are the top 3 games: The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. That's number 1 for US and Canada, followed by Minecraft, which is Xbox, and then Forza Horizon 5. Go down the list a little bit more. You still have Call of Duty in there. And then you go over here to the EU, and again, it's the same 3, just in a different order: Forza Horizon 5, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered, and Minecraft. So the top games on PlayStation are an Xbox, and when Xbox says this is an Xbox, I guess that's kind of what they mean, that their games are going to be dominating it pretty much everywhere that they're going. Will be interesting to see how Gears does. I think Gears of War will sell. Will it be a top selling game, as people on PlayStation potentially have never played it? I feel like Gears of War is one of those games, even if you are a main PlayStation guy right now, PS5 is where you play. I would be shocked for people who have been gaming since the 360 days if they've never played Gears of War. So it may not have the same effect. But again, you could say the same thing here with Oblivion Remastered, as that was actually on PlayStation and that ended up in a top spot. So we will see if Gears gets up on that list as well, and then I guess other games as well that do end up landing onto the PlayStation 5. Oblivion Remastered, in terms of its overall sales, it's doing very well. This is one of the most successful, I guess, shadow drops, you could say. We will see more of this, I do believe now. Maybe they'll do the same thing with Fallout 3 Remastered, which I can't wait to see what they're going to be able to do with that. But they're saying here that it is already 2025's 3rd best-selling game. And again, shadow dropped and just came out, and this comes via Matt Piscatella Circana. And he says, after just 1 week in the market, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered is already the 3rd best-selling game of 2025 in the US in terms of dollar sales, trailing only Monster Hunter Wilds and Assassin's Creed Shadows. That is in some pretty big company of 2 of the biggest games to release this year in Monster Hunter and Assassin's Creed. A shadow drop game of a remaster of an older title. Pretty wild to see the success that this has had. Now, getting back to the announcement for Gears and the Xbox PC that they did use in the headline of that announcement. This could be something that is maybe a hint at the future of Xbox, where there will be Xbox PCs, specific pre-built of some sort that are designed for Xbox with the ecosystem, kind of similarly what we saw with the ROG Ally stuff that has been teased and shown off, that there's going to be a new handheld here that will be designed for Xbox. I wonder if they're going to be going along those same lines with just PC consoles, things that look like consoles, act like consoles. You can put the Xbox user interface on there, but they're also booted into Windows 11 and everything and run as a PC. As Tom Warren does put this out, I mean, he's just kind of speculating, but you do see some comments here, so it is kind of interesting. He looks at that article from Xbox Wire with Gears of War Reloaded and highlights Xbox PC, puts the thinking emojis and everything and the detective emojis, and wondering if this is some new form of labeling that they do have, or if this is hinting at something else. Is my thoughts when he puts this out here. You have Colt Eastwood saying this ? Xbox app on Windows PC, and Tom Warren replying, that's what it refers to, but they've never said Xbox PC before. If Super Nintendo here saying probably going to rename the store in the Xbox app to Xbox PC, considering they mentioned Steam, but it would be rad if they're Windows OS for handhelds. Kit Smooth here pointing to the Xbox app on PC. You have more responses here saying they always say Xbox PC though, don't they? It's the Xbox Game Pass via PC, or am I wrong? And Tom Warren says no, they specifically say PC Game Pass and renamed it to that because Xbox Game Pass for PC was confusing. I do remember when they went and did that marketing campaign to rename it. This person here responds, they mean the Microsoft PC store. It's also coming to Steam. It's just weird wording to differentiate them. Tom Warren replies and says they don't. They mean the Xbox app on PC, but they've never used Xbox PC language before without saying app. Definitely weird to see it shortened to just Xbox PC. So could there be more merging? Could this be some sort of crossover here? People are mentioning Steam and Xbox and everything. So could all of this mean that something here is happening, that they're preparing with their market? We don't know, or it could just be them changing their naming conventions, I guess, to make it less confusing. But the future of hardware, the future of Xbox, what they're doing is they are trying to integrate everything into a singular place and kind of get rid of that ambiguity between the different platforms, the console and the PC itself, as well as with cloud, and everything I think is just going to end up being looking the same. So naming it Xbox PC makes sense. I think they're going to go forward with it just Xbox. Everything is Xbox. That's kind of what they're trying to get into people's minds so they can move away from PC Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, Microsoft Game, like all of these different types of naming conventions that people do have in there. But we will see, because I think right now with the strategy, with the way that their games are selling in other places, I think it's going to be pretty cool to see exactly what comes out, especially with next generation. There will still be a console, there will be a handheld, and how are those going to be utilized and how are those going to be marketed is the big question here that we have now going forward. All right, another game is coming back here, which is a really interesting one that randomly just popped up here. And this is also via, I believe, an Xbox Wire article where this did get revealed, and that is ECCO the Dolphin. If you remember this one here, it is getting remastered. And this comes via ECCO's creator, Ed Annunziata, who was interviewed by the official Xbox Wire website celebrating the Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. And he says here, me and the entire original team are going to remaster the original ECCO the Dolphin and Tides of Times games. Then we will make a new third game with contemporary play and GPU sensibilities. So two here, remaster of the original, and then a new third game is going to be coming out for this series. It was originally released in 1992, and it was a pretty fun game. It had good graphics, it had a good soundtrack, and all of that coming out here for the Mega Drive, Genesis, and everything. So cool that they're bringing this back. Interesting how this did get announced, and the fact that we are getting a new one into the series just randomly out of nowhere in this Xbox Wire interview article is an interesting take here. Maybe we will see more about this at the Xbox Showcase, since they did show it off here on this Xbox Wire interview. And finally, GameStop is no more, at least in Canada. It is going back to EB Games, and I fully support this. I'm very happy to see this, that it's going over to new ownership. It's being bought by a Canadian who's coming in, going to be rebranding it to EB Games. This is Stephen Tetro. He's acquired GameStop Canada. And they say Stephen Tetro, a prominent French-Canadian entrepreneur and longtime leader in the collectibles and entertainment space, has officially acquired Electronics Boutique Canada, also known as GameStop Canada, from GameStop Global Holdings SARL. And it is going to now be relaunched as EB Games Canada, which to me is great to hear and great to see. And I hope that this means they're going to try to improve on this franchise and improve on this store, at least in Canada. Because I know for me growing up, it was EB Games. It was always EB Games. That's where all my nostalgic memories of going into game stores come from when it comes to this franchise, specifically EB Games and Microplay here in Canada. And then GameStop came over, GameStop Canada, they rebranded and rechanged it. And I feel like, and maybe this is just my perception, I don't know if it actually changed anything. It could have just been the name, but I feel like the store and everything has gotten a little bit worse since it became that. But now it's going back to EB Games. Maybe they'll bring back the nostalgia behind it and hopefully revitalize the stores in Canada, because we've only been seeing GameStop kind of go downhill. Again, you think about the Nintendo Switch 2 and the announcement and launch for that. EB Games and GameStop are the only places doing those midnight launches and releases where you're going to have those olden days of going in there with new console launches, new game launches, which I absolutely love. And I would love to get back to more and more. I hope they don't end up just doing this now and then stopping going forward. Obviously, with the rise of the internet and digital gaming, it's something that kind of has fallen to the wayside, but cool to see here that EB Games Canada is coming back. And hopefully it's not just the name change. There will be some changes to make these stores better in Canada. But I will end the video there. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.